Yes.
Do you want this or?
Yeah, what page are we on? For number 1. Okay, so this is...
The first worksheet.
Here we are. Alright, so this is blood flow through the heart. So, I guess this is high enough. So first we have a heart. And did he go over, or did Janet go over either, how the blood flow works through the heart? Did you guys dissect the heart?
Yes.
Alrighty. So if you guys, oh dear. So when you guys dissected it, what was, oh my goodness. Okay, this is not working out. What was the, what were the parts of the heart called?
We have the aorta on top.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have
The aorta? Close. The aorta is the big artery that comes out of it. Yeah. So the aorta, you were right. There's the aorta,
the only thing I know.
which is the big artery that comes out of it and you know, pumps blood to the rest of the body. Atrium. Mm-hmm. And which one is right or left? Yep. This is right. This is left. And what are these? Mm-hmm. Okay. So where does deoxygenated blood usually come from? Mm-hmm. Yeah, here? No, the right. So, deoxygenated blood, so I'm going to draw someone's foot down here, because why not? Oh dear. He has like a issue. I don't know. And then someone's head. Oh dear. Okay, you are happy. Okay, so usually we have the left and right vena cava, or vena cava, however your instructors say it. You guys have different ones. So here's your left and, or no, not your left and right, your inferior and superior vena cava. So your inferior vena cava comes from, like, everything, it drains everything from, you know, the top part of your body, while the inferior vena cava drains everything from the bottom part. So, and then it goes into the right atrium. This blood will then go from the right atrium to the right ventricle through which valve? A valve is like an opening. Tricuspid? Mm-hmm. Tricuspid valve. So it will go, so deoxygenated blood, you know, will pool in here. It'll go through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. And then where does it go from the right ventricle? Yeah. So you have lungs. Oh god. Oh no, this guy is like has a really bad like medical condition. Big heart, little lungs. Anyway. So yeah, deoxygenated blood will come from the right atrium to the left ventricle through the tricuspid valve, and it will leave the right ventricle through the pulmonary semilunar valve. And then this pulmonary, so whenever you hear the word pulmonary, it means lungs. So it'll take the pulmonary semilunar valve will allow blood to travel through this vessel and this one. So what are these called? These vessels. They're pulmonary. They're pulmonary what? Arteries or veins? Arteries, yeah. So usually when you think about an artery, you usually think about it having like a lot of oxygenated blood, but in the heart it's opposite. Whenever you think artery, it goes away from the heart. Mm-hmm. It's deoxygenated. But when it gets to the lungs, then it gets oxygenated.
Oxygen's put into the blood.
Yeah, right here. So O2 enters blood. or goes into the blood in the lungs. So then it will be transported to the left atrium. Sorry, dude. You have all this going on. But it will go to the left atrium through the pulmonary, what is this? Pulmonary, pulmonary veins. So from the lungs to through the pulmonary veins to the left atrium, oxygenated blood will then go into the left atrium, and it will go into the left ventricles through which valve?
The bicuspid? Or wait.
Bicuspid, also known as. There's two names for it.
The
The mitral valve. Yep. So, and this will go into the left ventricle, and then now we have oxygenated blood. So where's it gonna go now?
No, distribute all of it.
Through the
Aorta.
aorta. Yeah. So, and it will come out of the aortic valve. Sorry. And blood will be able to be distributed to the rest of the body through the aorta.
So that's how it works. So first it starts down here and then it goes down.
Yep. So we start with so a little brief.
Yeah, I see too. Yeah,
So
makes
that's
sense.
why people with heart issues they usually take like a vein out of their leg or something like that.
Yeah.
And okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so just a recap, we have our vena cavas, our superior and our inferior vena cavas. Goes to the right atrium, through the tricuspid valve to the right ventricles, out of the right ventricles through the pulmonary semilunar valve, and into the lungs. From the lungs, it will go to go through the pulmonary veins into the left atrium. From the left atrium into the bicuspid, or also known as the mitral valve. Then to the left ventricle, and out through the aorta into the rest of the body. So, does this make a little bit more sense?
Yes,
Okay.
it's so much more.
It's English.
Yeah, I know.
What's nice about this room actually has a lot of light, so you can actually see this. Okay, so I have this whole board. And then after this, we're going to go into like the circuits. So if you see the word circuit, you'll know what it's talking about. But only when you're done. Take your time, it's fine.
Are you recording?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, like, whoever can watch it, or they can skip ahead. I mean, it's fine.
Okay.
I don't want to, like, turn it off, because then I have to, like, reset it all back up again, so... What part are you guys at?
Okay, so blood goes from the back
Mm-hmm.
to the head.
Well, there are two veins.
There's two veins. Oh,
Mm-hmm. There are
okay.
two vena cavas.
So it starts either from the front or the head?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But they both go to
To
the...
vena cava. Okay.
Mm-hmm. This poor guy.
And it enters the atrium, right?
The atrium, yep.
Okay. Now it makes sense.
And I'm...
Blue blood is, sorry,
Mhm.
it's deoxygenate.
Yeah, oxygen poor, deoxygenated. So the point of the heart is just to get that blood oxygenated and pumped to the rest of the body. So like with that in mind, you know, the aorta is the one that, you know, you have to pump blood to the rest of the body. So if we know that about the aorta, which ventricle is thicker? So
The left.
the left ventricle is usually thicker because it has to be able to push, you know, it's a lot more muscular because it has to push.
Up to the aorta.
While this ventricle only has to like kind of like just to the lungs, so it's a little bit short. So this one's actually is a lot. So if you get a question about which one is thickest, it is the left ventricle. It's very muscular. So. Oh really? Oh dear. Okay, well, thank you for joining us. Yeah, I know. It's just right when you came in, so. Now I get you all to myself. Take care. If you have any questions, email me.
Yes,
So
I will.
probably have plenty.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
You're good? Okay, I thought you said you're gonna go, and I'm like, you're leaving
No,
too?
like,
What
I
is
have to go to
this?
the next section.
Okay, so this page has some like vocabulary, and you can look in your own textbook, so I'm just gonna skip over it. Go to the one that says, what are two circuits of the cardiovascular system? Okay, so the answer to it is that there's pulmonary and there's systemic. So with those in a circuit, do you know what a circuit is? It's basically like a network of veins and vessels. So the pulmonary circuit transports is just right here. This, so pulmonary means lung. What is it in Spanish? I know you said it last. Pulmones? Is that how you say it? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. So the pulmonary circuit is just anything that has to do with your lungs. So it's just the pulmonary arteries and the pulmonary veins. While the systemic circuit is, you know, your aorta and your vena cavas and then everything else, all the veins in your arms, the veins in your legs. So the pulmonary circuit functions to transport oxygen poor blood from the heart to the lungs and back to the heart. And then it also, yeah, just that. And then the systemic circuit, see I'm looking off this, transports oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the rest of the body. So that's kind of like, and you'll have the sheet later, but that's kind of like the definition of it. But there are two circuits, and that's what a circuit is, just the veins and arteries and just the vessels. So the next question, number 2, it says oxygen-rich blood is supplied to the heart by the coronary sinus and the cardiac veins. This is false. In order to make this one true, you just take out coronary sinus and cardiac veins, and you make it like this.
Oh, okay.
Oxygen-rich blood is supplied to the heart by the left and right coronary arteries. So that's how the heart gets oxygenated, because the rest of the body gets oxygenated by the heart. So what is... But the heart needs oxygen too, right?
Yeah.
And then oxygen poor blood is drained from the heart by the coronary sinus and cardiac veins.
Okay, got it.
So
I
that's
think I'll
that.
be all of that later if you want.
Okay.
I can just go through it.
And then, let's see. So this question number 3 is saying the right, I wish I had another like projector, but I guess not. The right, so this next one is the right ventricle is thicker than the left myocardium, and this is false because of this, yeah, it needs to be more muscular.
Okay.
So the left ventricle is thicker, has to have enough force to pump blood to the rest of the body.
So it needs to be, it's the
Yeah,
Or
the left is a lot thicker.
ventricle.
Mhm. And then this next one, which valves are smaller? The semilunar valves are smaller. So the semilunar valves are the ones down here. So these are, yeah, they're smaller. So think about semi meaning half.
Okay.
So they're half, you know. Semilunar. And these valves up here, the tricuspid and the mitral valve, are known as, I don't know how to spell it. These are known as arterioventricular. And it's important to know the arterioventricular valves because the atrium, the ventricles, these are valves. So, and then when we go into the cardiac conduction, like how the heart pumps and everything, arterioventricular is just talking about the bicuspid and the tricuspid.
Okay.
So there's that. And then the next one, what is scaling of blood vessels? So do you know what a blood vessel is? Just a quick question.
It's the arteries, the veins,
Mhm.
the capillaries.
Yeah, so so you have your arteries. You have your what's smaller than an artery.
Veins.
No, vein is the same size as an artery.
Okay. The capillaries?
Close, but they're arterioles,
Oh, okay, okay.
which are a little bit smaller than arteries, but they're bigger than capillaries.
Okay.
Next, you have your capillaries. So they're oxygenated, deoxygenated. Then you have your venules, and then your veins. But these are all known as vessels.
Okay.
So
So just like those, the arteries,
yeah, pretty much. Can you see this size writing from over there?
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't be able to, I'd be blind. So.
So venules are before veins?
Yeah, they're smaller than veins.
Oh, so it's from small. Okay.
Yeah. So the arteries are big, the veins are big, and then it gets smaller.
Mhm.
So it gets big, medium, small, medium, big again.
Okay.
So that's
Got
why
it.
that sheet kind of has the big box and the small box and the little box.
To distinguish their size. Okay.
Mhm.
Got
So
it.
that's that. And that concludes worksheet number 1. So